Hi viewers, in this video I will show you how I use the basic evap system illustration to solve a trouble code P0456 leak problem on a 2015 Kia Rio.
Unless the check engine light goes on, there is no obvious sign that shows that there is a small fuel vapor leak in the sealed portion of the evap system. A generic evaporative emission system leak trouble code should be read easily with any kind of OBD2 scan tools. First, I connected the scan tool on the OBD2 DLC connector located under the dashboard and the steering column. Then, I turned the ignition key to the on position to check the system status. There was only one code stored in the system. And next, the module 07E8 to access the Read Codes menu. Once in the Read Codes listing, I selected the stored codes. The code was P0456 and it was described as Evaporative Emission System Leak Detected with a very small leak. Normally, DCM manages the evap system when the engine is running and keeps the valves of the sealed portion closed when the engine is not running. The fuel cap is also a part of the evap system to prevent the fuel vapors from getting into the atmosphere. When the valves are closed, the ECM reads the fuel vapor pressure levels sent by a pressure sensor located in the sealed evap system. Depending on the type of leaks, the ECM can generate a P0455 or a P0456 code. A very small leak code like P0456 is often caused by a fuel cap that is not tightened properly. If the fuel cap vent system is defective, it can also cause a leak. Then a new fuel cap should be installed. Some rust on the edge of the fuel filler neck can cause different kinds of leaks. In this case, there was practically no rust, so that is why I decided to check under the vehicle. Like I usually do, I safely jacked up the vehicle to secure the working area. It was not required to remove the wheel to get under the vehicle, but it was quite useful to film the procedure. There you can see the canister close valve, also called evap vent valve, and the fuel tank air filter. Those two clamps were rusted, but they were still in acceptable condition for the time being. Near these parts you can see the fuel filler assembly. The two clamps were also in acceptable condition. This is the charcoal canister. Those three hoses are connected to the canister ports. The hose that is easy to see and access to is connected to the canister vent port. The two other hoses connected to the canister ports are used to carry fuel vapors. Anyway, it took me seconds to see that the steel clamp securing the vent hose on the port was completely rusted. This is how the clamp looked like when I removed it with my fingers. To remove the rust residue left on the hose, I used a small wire brush and then I installed a new stainless steel clamp. Overall, it took me about 5 to 10 minutes to remove the clamp, clean the hose and install the new clamp. More likely, it was a good way to solve the problem. Anyway, time will confirm if I was right. Soon after, I reinstalled the wheel, I lowered the vehicle on the floor and I tightened the lug nuts to specs. Finally, the last operation to do was to erase the stored trouble code.
So far, the clamp replacement was done a few weeks ago and up to now, there has been no problem with the evap system.